All right, guys, thank you for joining us for the Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. We are here live in Trestle Media's recording studio. So if any of you realtors or businesses need any branding videos or any YouTube management or any kind of videos to really just validate your business, then Troy is your guy. So we are here today with Christian Stephenson of C3 Skidsteer Services, who's one of our trusted business partners who's come highly recommended by several realtors, and one of our esteemed realtors, Paula Yaussi. So thank you both for being here today. We are going to talk about dirt and some real estate and a little bit of everything in between. So on that, Christian, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you invited Paula.
Okay. I've run equipment for a little over 20 years. Grew up in the country. I'm a rodeo guy, steer wrestler all my life. And that's how I got to know Paula. They have an indoor arena down in Udall. And, you know, above and beyond all that, we're both faithful people and believers in God. And I think that has set the course for everything that we have done together. And the friendship we've made has been based off of that more than anything else.
Foundation.
Yep.
Yeah. And,
you know, I know that the lifestyle she lives has helped grow her business in the country real estate.
Yes.
Now, that's not her limits. She has real estate everywhere, but my dad was selling some property out in the country, and so I was like, man, you got to use Paula, Dad. I said, because she's got the clientele for that, and I know she's a trustworthy person to handle that, and she did. So she came through and got her done.
I love that. Isn't that cool? That is great.
Yep.
So then tell us a little bit more about Skidsteer Services. You know, that we are in Kansas. There are a lot of us country people around, but there's plenty of city people. We might not know what the heck that even means.
Okay, a skid steer is a compact loader with a bucket. A lot of you might know a Bobcat, and that's what I run. I can do anything from drainage issues, you know, negative drainage on a house, and any kind of dirt work or excavation that needs done, or stone work like boulder retaining walls, pasture clearing, yard grading. There's so many things that a skid steer can do, and
get in all those little places, whether it's in a packed neighborhood or you're on a big piece of land, right?
Yeah, and I'm not scared to use a wheelbarrow either. If I can't get my machine in the backyard, I still do manual labor, so
okay, I like that.
That's not an issue. I'm not scared of hard work.
Okay, yes, no, I can tell that. Okay, well, Paula, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in real estate, and why you chose this crazy career of real estate.
Well, let's see. I've had two real estate careers. I got into real estate in 2005.
Okay.
After my husband and I, we've been married for 32 years. And so we have what we call a State of the Union meeting every year. You know, we just hash over things that are going on in our life and things we need to change. And that particular year, I had 4 children under the age of 8. And the
oh, mercy.
Extrovert was at home with the kids, and the introvert was going to work and spending his 2,500 words at work. And I had 25,000 for him when he got home. And he said, you know what, I think you'd be good at real estate. So, you know, I get out the phone book and I flip through the phone book to try and figure out who I need to call. And I had my license in 2 months and got super busy right away and actively sold really heavy through that 2008 crash. And then my kids just really started demanding more of my time. I had a competitive baseball player.
Taxing.
Yeah, and things like that. And, you know, it was easy for me. My mindset was different back then. It was easy for me to just kind of step out and say, oh, you know, I'm just a sales agent. I can step out. So in 2019, when I joined Keller Williams, my mindset was completely different. I'm a business owner, and I call the shots on how my business is run, and it's completely changed how I do things. So that's, you know, me in a nutshell. I love everything about real estate. I love the people more than I love anything. I want them to be able to reach their goals and their dreams. I might get teary. It's
That's
crazy.
okay. No, that's good. I mean, you do. You take it to heart, and everyone knows that. I mean, the response to your story that we told a couple months ago was just incredible. I mean, people just love and respect you so much in this industry.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited for Christian and Rachel and the home that they're building and the connection that we've made through the years. Christian's he's just a beautiful person.
Yes. Yeah. A good human. You can tell. Just some good vibes coming through. All right, Christian, let's come back to you. So what does a typical day look like for you?
I'm an early bird. My wife hates it because I'm so chipper in the mornings. And
a little lark?
Yeah, I get up at the crack of dawn. We share the role of taking the boys to school, but it's nice I have that freedom to be able to take them to school unless I have to be on a job site by a certain time because I have trucks bringing material. So we just kind of play that by ear day to day, but typically get up early, get to a job site, whether I'm doing dirt work, gravel work, whatever. I only plan one job a day. I don't care if it's a 2-hour job or an 8-hour job. I always try to get home or get off work by the time I can go pick the boys up if she's not able to. So I have that freedom to do that. But with that being said, I also have the freedom of working 2 hours and getting the job done and going home and spending it with my wife if she's not at work or doing what I love to do. And that's kind of the reason I started this deal is because I'd always done this work and
for other companies,
For
right?
other companies, yeah. And in 2014, I was going through a divorce, so I left the equipment operating industry and went and applied at Spirit. I got on at Spirit. I was there for 7 years. I hated it from day one, but I did what I had to do. Right. It was a great place for stepping stones to get us where we need to go. And my old boss called me every single year, and he's like, "Are you ready to come back to work? Are you ready to come back to work?" The last year we talked, we were $3 an hour away from having me back. And had I have gone back, I wouldn't have been forced out the door to go out on my own. So I look at it as, God had a different plan.
Blessing in disguise, yeah.
And if I would have shut that door, who knows where I'd be. I would have gone back to work for him because I loved working for him.
Yeah.
It was just the money was what stopped me.
Right.
And now that I've gone out and stepped out on my own, it has been awesome. I have zero regrets. I pride myself on being honest, punctual, and fair. If I say I'm going to be there, whether it's just for an estimate or a job, I'm there when I say I'm going to be there. I've never let anybody hang. I communicate well. If something does come up, whether it's a traffic jam, I call the customer and say, "Hey, I'm a couple minutes late, but I'm on my way." Yeah. But I take pride in that and giving people an honest day's work for an honest day's wage. Yeah. I don't have a lot of overhead, so I don't charge like a lot of companies do. I just, I'm a one-man show. Mm-hmm. I will never have any employees because I know the work that I can give people. I know the quality I do. I don't want to worry about my employees doing as good of work as I can do. And if I want to take off and go on vacation,
that's right.
I can go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't have the stress level of keeping employees.
Yeah.
And when I say that, stress of keeping work lined up for them to feed their families with.
Right. Yeah. That's another level of stress.
I know what our bills are.
You know what you got to do.
I didn't start this to become rich.
That's right. That's what I remember you saying.
I started this company to be happy and stress-free life.
Yes.
And it is working.
Yep. Living the life that you guys want to live.
Yes.
Yep. That's what I remember because you're the one that told me to call him. Mm-hmm. And I remember our sales meeting. I've had hundreds and hundreds of sales meetings, but I do remember our sales meeting in the lobby of a hotel.
Yes.
When you were attending some event or something, and I remember you saying those words, and I thought, wow, this guy, he's got it figured out. You weren't here to make $1 million. You are here to live your best life possible with your wife and your kids, and you do a darn good job. I was like, these are the businesses that I want in this platform, because I want the rest of the real estate industry to know, when you have these needs, these are the people you trust. This is who your vendor list should consist of.
It's kind of funny. Everybody gets these spam calls, but the ones that I laugh at is the people wanting to call me to grow my business. And I'm like, no, I don't want to grow my business. And they're like, what? And they said, you don't want to get your company bigger or make more money? I said, no.
No, you just want a
And
couple more relationships like this, and you're good.
That stops them because they don't know how to
No, they don't know how.
that.
Yeah, that objection is like, yeah, they're frazzled. Their brains are frazzled. That makes sense. Okay. So what is the craziest, I guess, skid steer or earth moving story that you have that comes to mind? I mean, you told us a pretty cool one before the camera was rolling about your own home that you guys are building on your land, but you can tell that one, or does anything else come to mind? Like, have you uncovered some interesting things, anything like that?
Well, on our new home site, I did. Yeah. So I was digging like 6 foot down to get to a limestone shelf because I wanted to break that shelf out and use it for a boulder retaining wall around our new home. We elevated the pad. It had to be 6 foot high on one side. So rather than continuing to haul dirt for 100 yards out to to slope it out away from the house, I said, well, let's just build a stone retaining wall. So I did a 5.5 foot stone retaining wall. But as I'm digging back there, I came across a bone. And it was deep. It wasn't just on the surface.
Yeah, 6 feet.
So I saved the bone. I still don't know what it was. I didn't find any other bones, but as you're digging, you're not looking for that. This just happened to be when I went to dump my bucket of dirt, I saw this bone flip out on the top. And I picked it up and looked at it. And my dad had come out and I'd showed him the bone, and I ended up just tossing it. I meant to save it to show my boys.
Yeah.
So the next time the kids were out there looking at the site, they're like, Daddy, where's that bone at? I was like, crap, I thought I put it in my truck, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And about 3 or 4 days later, I was out there working, and here appears that same bone.
Interesting.
So I saved it this time and showed the boys, it's not a coyote bone. It doesn't appear to be a deer bone.
You never know.
I don't know.
It could be this was Indian territory.
I'm not going to say what it was because I don't know.
That's right.
Was,
no, that is interesting. It makes you stop and think, all the things that have happened on that land over the hundreds of years. That would mean thousands, millions of years. That's really cool. I like that. What is your 5-year goal with your C3 Skidsteer services in Wichita and the surrounding areas?
To be able to grow more with realtors, get other realtors to know me.
Yes.
One advantage I have to a lot of other companies is being such a small business and a one-man show, I don't stay booked out for 3-4 months on end.
Yeah.
So these realtors, if they've got a client that is trying to sell a house and it's got negative drainage, they can't sell it. It won't pass inspection.
No, they need you pretty quickly.
And I can almost say 100% of the time I can be there within 2 weeks, typically within a week.
Mm-hmm. So well within the constraints of the contract that they're working on. Yeah, which is what they need.
They have to get somebody in quick to get it done, to get that closing done.
And that's the key. And realtors need to know the businesses that can do that. The roofers that can get out there right away, the people like you that can get out there, because they're not trying to be demanding. They are working on the constraints of this time, of this document. So that makes sense. Okay, I like it.
5-year goal also is to be more involved in the community. Me and my wife both from Rose Hill all of our lives, and our boys have always gone to school at Rose Hill, but now we're outside the district where we currently live, but we're building in the constraints of the Rose Hill district again on my family farm. So I want to get back into Rose Hill and get more involved in that community and let our name be known. That's where we're both from, and
get back
and let us blossom there again.
Yeah, and just pour into that community.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great little community out there. I like that. Okay. What's an unusual or an absurd habit that you have or you do? And maybe Rachel, who's sitting out here in the audience, can chime in on this one. Anything come to mind? This is always a fun.
We talked about this on the way in here today because I was stuck on that one. She goes, candy hearts.
Okay, see, there you go. See, we don't know that it's absurd because it's normal to us. It's usually the others that can.
I have.
Valentine's Day is around the corner. Do you stock up? Is that?
I don't go buy one bag of candy hearts, and I don't like the sweet tart ones. I like the old school original chalky candy hearts.
That are more soft or more hard?
The soft ones.
Okay, yeah, I can relate.
I have been known to order a 10-pound bag of them off eBay outside of Valentine's season. I can sit down and eat not the little bag, but the big bags you can buy at the store.
With
and it has
problem.
to be the Brock's brand.
Brock's, yes. And Brock's has the best black jelly beans also.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, that's my go-to.
So every February, March, your insulin level is very high and then it regulates the rest of the year. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's high all the time. She hates me because I got her hooked on sweets. She never ate sweets before we got together.
Oh, goodness.
And I have to eat sweets like it's my steak.
Yeah.
That's my
that's your daily.
downfall. Yeah.
Okay. I can relate to that though. Yes. But I will order, because you can't find those regularly outside of the season, the holiday season for Valentine's Day for you. But for me with black jelly beans, I can't find them very often. And so, but I can always find them on Amazon, and they have to be the Baraks brand. It just is. It is what it is. Not even Jelly Belly. Love Jelly Belly. But okay. What is something that you've gotten really good at saying no to? I know the first thing that kind of came to mind for me when I was thinking of these questions and asking you is just going back again to our initial sales meeting. Like, you're not going to hire other people. You're protecting your time. Your family is number one, but you're going to do a really good job at business. You're not going to bite off more than you can chew. And that just had stood out to me. And that's been almost 18 months.
And there's been times where I've been asked to do some things, and if it wasn't in my realm that I wanted to do or felt comfortable giving them a quality enough job, I don't refer very many people because that's my name on the line.
Yes, it is.
But I do have a handful of people in different industries or different lines of work that I will refer because I know they're quality, dependable, reputable people that's going to do a jam up nice job for them. Yeah. And if I don't believe that in my heart, if I wouldn't use them on my job,
right, then
I dang sure won't refer them to nobody.
Right. Yeah. The way that you can confidently refer Paula to anyone that has a real estate need. Right.
Yes.
That makes sense. Okay. What is anything else that you would like to know? One thing or several things that you want our Wichita real estate community to know about you and your business? How do you want them to use you? And what are the things potentially that you're not going to do for them when it comes to dirt work or, moving earth, anything like that?
I think we've kind of shot over that already. I can get to you guys in a timely manner. I don't charge an astronomical price, even though I can get there and get it done for you. Sometimes people think, well, maybe it's worth paying a little extra to get him here in time. You're not going to get that from me. I don't care if you need it done in a week or if you want it done 4 months from now. The price is still going to be the same. I don't believe in that. I want people to be able to, since I've been a preferred partner now, I've had probably 4 realtors regularly call me to come look at jobs or houses, that need work done. And whether we decide to do it or not, I don't care. I show up, I give you guys I give the homeowner what it's going to cost to get it fixed.
Mm-hmm. The right way. Yeah.
And whether they do it or not, I don't care. I'm still going to show up and give you guys what it's going to take.
Yeah.
And I'm doing something right because they continue to call me back.
Yes, you are. Yeah, the proof is in that.
Yeah. I do pride myself on Google, Facebook, Better Business Bureau, all of them. I have 5-star reviews everywhere. And I tell customers that you can have faith in me. A, check out my reviews. Mm-hmm. B, I hear it all the time how many people are getting taken advantage of. So if they hire John Smith to do a job, they sign a contract with him, whatever, and John Smith, not that I know a John Smith, I'm just using that name, but he wants X amount down as a down payment. Well, then they never hear from him again.
Yeah.
I hear it daily, and I even hear of people showing up to give estimates, and the customer never hears back from them after that. Now,
right.
Why would I show up take my time to go look at a job and never even communicate back?
I know, the fortunes in the follow-up, as they say. Like, it's silly.
I don't require any money down. That helps people get peace of mind.
Or wait until after closing, potentially. Is that something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of realtors, they'll put that money in an escrow.
Yep.
So that once the closing's done, then they can pay it out. It'll get paid out of that escrow account.
It's so beautiful. That's just such a convenience for agents and for the sellers or the buyers. Would you say the most common thing that you're doing for agents with either their sellers or their buyers is going to be the negative drainage, like just the dirt work around the earth?
That's a lot of problems. Okay. Every house has, I say every house, 90% of the homes have some negative drainage.
Well, especially now with the drought we've been experiencing.
Yes.
I mean, all these houses are moving and cracking, and we need more dirt around our foundations.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And either that or they've got areas that are holding water when it does rain because everything has settled. It may not be a negative drainage against the house, but it could be out in the middle of the yard somewhere, and they want to get that fixed before they
Yeah. Before it comes up in the
pass it.
inspections.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's good to know. Thank you. All right. So Miss Paula, let's turn over to you here. I know we already talked a little bit about that. This is your second go round with real estate. But before that first go round, what were you passionate about? Or were you always passionate about real estate? I mean, tell us a little bit about that. Why?
Oh, I always just wanted to be a wife and a mom.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then when I realized here I'm at home, I'm homeschooling children, and I have no one to talk to. We live out in the country. We lived a ways out in the country. And I was just really, don't get me wrong, I love my babies.
Yes.
But I was exasperated. I needed friends. I needed people.
Adult conversations.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So I never thought that I was capable of doing this. When my husband said, I think you'd be good at, I was like, okay, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I just, it was not anything ever on my radar.
Yeah.
It was not pursuing passions and dreams and goals.
Right. You were raising babies and
It was not anything in my forethought. And so when he said that, that's when I got to thinking about it. And so then as my kids got older and I'm homeschooling kiddos, and my youngest boys, they're identical twins, and they were about 15. And I started feeling, I was like, oh, I want to get back into real estate. And, it was
starting to grow again.
Yeah, the whole churn of wanting to be involved in that environment and be involved in people's lives again was really pretty heavy. We'd rodeoed with our kids all of those years and met so many people, and I really got to pour into people in that manner. And so when they were old enough to
buy houses, you had a great sphere.
Yeah. So got my kids to a point that I could leave more and be confident that, things wouldn't get burned down.
Yes.
Then
everyone would still be alive.
Yeah.
There would be no emergency room visits. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would be able to come back home. And it was at that point that I said, you know what, I'm going to get my real estate license. And the crazy thing was I missed some continuing ed, and then I expired by one day, and there's no grace period.
Yes, that is rough.
I expired.
You have to stay on top of this.
I know. And so when I got back into real estate, I had to do the class all over again. Mm-hmm. And I did it online, and that, I regretted doing that because it took me 6 months to finalize it. And so, but once I did get it, I just immediately affiliated with KW, just primarily because I knew Leanne Barney. She and I got into real estate at the same time our first year. And so I had been talking to her, and I affiliated with KW, and my eyes were just open to a whole different world to me. I wasn't just a brokerage sales agent. No, I was Paula Yaussi Real Estate. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've approached it ever since. And God has just been so good. Before I got involved, I'd had a conversation with him, and I said, listen, I don't want to be a billboard. I don't want to be a park bench sign. I only want to work with the people that you send me. Yeah. And they just...
Be careful what you ask for, because you will.
They just come, and he has been so good to me.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell us, and I know you briefly, you touched on it, and I can see your shirt, and I already know this about you, but I want everyone else to know. What do you do in your free time? Talk to us about that subject.
Well, younger in my life, my free time consisted of bringing calves out of the pasture so the boys could practice, popping the chutes, saddling and unsaddling horses, hauling them to rodeos, miles and miles and miles of driving. Never ever thought I would be capable of pulling a 34, 36 foot trailer loaded down with cattle or round bales or anything like that.
That's impressive.
But that's what my life consisted of. And
are you really good at backing trailers up now? That's like a very specific skill set.
Well, okay.
That's one that I don't think I'll ever master. It's not on my bucket list. I've just let it go.
hot summer day. We're on 160 highway near Oxford, and there is an accident up in front of us. And I've got my daughter's, 4-horse trailer with a full living quarters, so it's long. And there's nowhere for us to go but backwards because it's 100 degrees. The horses are sweating in the trailer. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. And I start backing 3/4 of a mile. I had to go past 3 semis, and I got that. I don't have any video documentation for it.
Proof, yeah.
That's what makes me mad because nobody believes me.
Well, I'm sure the semis were like, oh, they're backing up. Oh, that's a woman. That's impressive. Yeah, that's good.
I did ask one guy, I said, why are you just sitting here? Why don't you back up too and make it easier for everybody else? And he goes, oh, no, I can't do that.
Yeah. No, that is not an easy thing to do. That's impressive.
Thank you.
I like that. I mean, it's not necessarily like a line item on a resume, but nonetheless, that's impressive.
Yeah. So now I have I have a cargo trailer that I have all of my staging items in, and it's a bumper pull versus a gooseneck that hooks into the back of your truck, and it is a lot harder to back than a long gooseneck.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel better because I had a short little 6-foot trailer on the back of a bumper pull and still couldn't even reverse that.
They're hard.
Yeah.
The shorter they are, the harder they are.
Yes,
okay. Well, I thank you for making me feel better. Yeah. Okay. So then are you still pretty active in a lot of the rodeo and things like that?
Well, not in the capacity that I used to be. My boys are very, very much so. My oldest boy is, he's headed to Denver this weekend for the Denver rodeo. And,
that's cool.
Then my youngest boys, they'll be roping at the Pro Rodeo in Park City. So yeah, they've all grown and they're moving into more of their professional roles. So I haven't packed a horse trailer for,
good for you.
Probably 4 or 5 years now.
You've put in that work. You can just show up, look cute,
smile and
that's
wave.
right, and be the cheerleader, and that's perfect. You've earned that.
Yeah, so
that is really cool.
I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying watching what God's going to do with their life.
Yeah.
If they become professional rodeo cowboys and take it all the way to the NFR, praise Him. If they decide that they want to do something else, that's fine too, because their foundation is set, I think, and I feel like it's firm. They're ornery.
I bet, but they can back it up too.
Yeah, they're good men, and my daughter, she's a beautiful person also. So, I
love that.
I enjoyed that time.
What is one word or just a sentence? How would you describe our market today? Because you've been in this for a long time. This isn't your first rodeo. You've seen, I had to, you've seen the ups and the downs, and you were still selling actively through the 2008, 9, and 10 era. So how would you describe our market today, Paula?
I think our market today, the one word that comes to my mind is balanced. The last 2 years have just been crazy. It's been a knife fight for buyers.
There has to be a rodeo term for crazy. What could that rodeo term be? No, I'm kidding.
Western. It's been Western.
It's been wild west.
Been ranchy.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
You have to be salty to be in the industry.
Okay. Yes. So we're moving more into a balanced. Yes.
Yeah,
less Western. A little bit more refined.
Yeah, I feel like it is balanced. I mean, buyers don't have to throw the baby in with the contract now.
Right.
And
yeah. Home warranties and inspections are a thing again.
Absolutely.
Caring about negative drainage is a thing again.
Absolutely.
Which
making
is
sure
right.
that, my whole goal is to make sure it's a win-win on both sides.
Yes.
And that's just crucial to having a thriving industry. And so that's my focus is, making sure that my sellers understand we're no longer having appraisal gaps. We do get competition.
Yeah, competition is a thing again, like a healthy competition.
Yeah, healthy competition that's not so unbalanced that it's skills also. Yeah. Now realtors are having to use their negotiating skills.
They are. Yeah, there's not such the low-hanging fruit. And then the fiduciary obligations are coming back into the picture, which for me is a relief to be able to watch and observe, because I'm not selling real estate. I'm watching, I'm learning, I'm interviewing, and just getting, the podcast we did before this, the word that they used to describe was steady, and so I like that, a year ago, those were not the words that were being used to describe the market, because that's a question I always like to ask.
Yeah, it's also it's also humbling sometimes because you, as a professional, you think you've got it figured out. You've done so many transactions and you think,
you've seen it all. You know all the scenarios.
Know it all. There's
Yes.
not anything that's going to surprise you. And then you get one and you're like,
It is. They're like fingerprints. Every house has a different personality. Every transaction is different. Yeah.
and then you have to make a couple phone calls to some of your trusted peers and go, okay, have you ever experienced this before? And
right.
what's the best way for me to handle this? And if you don't have a couple, 4 or 5 realtors in your corner,
Yep. Some
They
good
don't have-
cooperative relationships.
and they don't necessarily have to be from your same brokerage.
That's right.
I've got some really beautiful people that I can call and talk to and bounce things off of, and that's just crucial in order to be effective
Yeah.
in this market.
And to stay in it, to have the longevity.
Yep.
Yep, I would agree. Okay. Let's move on to a quick little, we're nearing the end, and this is where I really like to have some fun with some speed round questions. And I know they're silly.
Let me,
And
get,
so-
let me
Get
sit
ready.
up here and
Here we
get
go.
ready.
Okay, so the questions apply to both of you. And if you want to give your why or your justification, you can do that too. We can discuss, and that's fine. But we do get to know people a little bit more when we ask questions like this, so it's fun. All right, would you rather be covered in fur or scales?
Fur.
Okay.
Fur.
Fur. Yeah, I could see the horse girl. Would you rather forget your partner, your spouse's birthday or your anniversary every year?
Birthday.
Okay.
I'd rather not answer that.
Chicken.
I will let that slide. Only because Rachel's here with us right now. Because you're not going to forget either of them, so it doesn't even matter, right? It's an invalid question. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll say
Okay.
yes.
Okay, good. All right. Would you rather go back in time or be able to tell the future?
Back in time, because I want to live in the Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp days.
And in the 1860s and see where those
Yes.
bones came from.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. That would have been a lot of wheelbarrows, okay, Christian?
Okay.
I'm kind of a future girl.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of my spiritual mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Would you rather live in a new build or a 100-year-old home? Which I know is a silly question because you guys are getting ready to build, but
New build.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
Paula,
same.
New build? Okay.
A 100-year-old home that's been completely redone.
Okay. All right.
Well, and I've been in the industry long enough.
Yeah.
In all phases of construction, I know how much work an old house can be. Not necessarily in the yard, but the bones
Internally.
of it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Would you rather have all business conversations from this point forward by text or by phone call?
Phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the tedious, insignificant stuff can be shot through a text, but if I've got a hard conversation I need to have,
Yeah.
I would rather have it by phone.
Absolutely.
And Christian and I, one thing about Christian is he is an absolute straight shooter. And so if you call him and you ask him a straight question, he's going to shoot you back a straight answer. And so phone definitely.
Yep. I like that.
Most of the time, I got a 30-foot trailer on behind me.
Yeah.
With the skid steer on it.
Yeah.
And
so you need to be very
so
quick.
I've got a
and-
big rig going through traffic all the time, and I don't I do it, but I get harped on all the time.
You've got even more at risk there.
Quit texting while you're driving.
That's
so
right. I know,
phone
because
calls
we
better.
are all guilty of it.
But
if
then
we're being
just get
honest.
a new truck and just say, "Hey Siri, send a text to Christian."
It's got that, but I don't like to. I'm not computer smart.
It's gonna mess up the words. It's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah,
and they're
you're
gonna be like, "What is Christian doing today? What is that?" Yeah, that would not be good. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay, that was fast.
A healer.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I have to always have a healer.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, we've got healers too. Now we have a cowboy corgi, which is a healer and corgi mix, and oh my word, that thing is
Cowboy corgi.
adorable.
Yep.
Okay, when this is over, I'm going to Instagram. I have to see what the heck this looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last question here: would you rather lose the ability to read or the ability to write?
Read, because I don't read much anyway.
I think for me, the ability to write, because I would still always be able to
Absorb,
Yeah.
acknowledge. Yep, I would do the same. Okay, I like that.
I got to write in my planner. I mean, I'm
And
a
enough.
scatterbrain if I don't write things
Yes,
out.
I'm the
so
same.
I would have to keep writing. I can read just fine. I just don't enjoy reading. So
Yes.
I wouldn't mind losing that.
That's okay, because you can always listen to Audible.
Yep.
You can always listen to podcasts too.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. All All right, there we go.
How would you write your appointments down, Paula, if you couldn't write no more?
You
Hey,
speak to
Siri.
text.
Hey, Siri. Put this
speak to
in my
text.
calendar.
Yeah. Like, hey, honey, can you do this for me? Yeah, I love that. Okay.
Get a hunky assistant.
Yes. Yeah. Like, hey, hubby, you don't have to talk. Just do this. Just do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll
absolutely.
I like it. Well, you guys, that's a wrap. I just really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Christian, for being one of our preferred partners and for just doing such a good job here in our real estate community. And Paula, thank you for introducing me to Christian Stephenson. And that's a wrap on the Real Producers podcast. So be sure that you subscribe. We release a podcast every single week, and stay tuned for our next one.